Gentlemen, put this powder under your tongue before intimacy and watch your blood flow come back so powerfully that you may actually need to slow yourself down. Listen closely because this is one of the simplest, fastest, science-backed tricks older men can use to bring back firmness, stamina, and confidence without pills, without prescriptions, and without waiting weeks to feel a difference. I'm talking about something that works within minutes. And when your circulation responds that quickly, your entire performance changes with it. Hi, I'm Dr. Lila Romano, a urologist with over a decade of experience helping men restore their vitality. And today I'm going to show you exactly how a natural amino acid, used the right way, can help older men restore blood flow not only to the heart and muscles, but specifically where you need it most during intimacy. And no, this is not about testosterone boosters, not about risky medications. This is about understanding a real medical mechanism that controls your erections, your stamina, and your ability to stay strong during intimate moments. Let's break down exactly what happens inside your body as you age and why this powder changes everything. As men get older, something very real begins happening inside the body. It has nothing to do with motivation, desire, or masculinity. It's physiology. And if you don't understand it, you can't fix it. Here's the simple truth. Your intimate performance lives or dies by blood flow. Every erection, every moment of firmness, every second of stamina depends on how quickly and strongly your blood vessels can open. But around your mid-40s, three major systems start declining at the same time. First, your cardiovascular efficiency drops. Blood vessels stiffen. Arteries don't expand as easily. The pump is still strong, but the pipes don't respond the way they used to. The pathways that carry blood where it needs to go during intimacy have lost their flexibility, their responsiveness, their youthful elasticity. Second, your hormonal signaling shifts. I'm not talking only about testosterone, although that matters too. I'm talking about the hormones that tell your nerves, muscles, and blood vessels how to react during arousal. The wiring is still there. The nerves are still firing, but the signals are weaker. It's like trying to make a phone call with one bar of signal. The connection keeps dropping, and the message doesn't get through with the same clarity or strength. And third, this is the big one, your body produces much less nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the master chemical that tells your blood vessels to relax so they can fill with blood quickly. When you were younger, your body made plenty of it. That's why arousal turned into action in seconds. Your body just responded, naturally and powerfully. But with age, the enzymes that create nitric oxide slow down. The lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, becomes less responsive. Cellular stress damages the very cells responsible for producing nitric oxide. Inflammation creeps in. Oxidative damage accumulates. And slowly, quietly, the entire system that once worked effortlessly begins to struggle. And what happens then? You might feel desire. You might feel mentally ready, but your body doesn't respond. Not with the same firmness. Not with the same speed. Not with the same staying power. This isn't in your head. It's not psychological. It's measurable, predictable physiology. But here's the good news, and this is where things get exciting. Nitric oxide production can be restored. The pathway can be activated again. Your body can respond again. But only if you give it the right building blocks in a form your system can use instantly. That's exactly why the powder I'm about to show you works so well for older men. It bypasses everything that slows down with age and triggers blood flow from the inside out. Now that you understand what changes as you age, let's talk about the one mechanism that determines almost everything about your performance. Nitric oxide is not a supplement. It's not a vitamin. It's not a hormone. It's a signal, a message your body sends to open blood vessels instantly. And understanding how this signal works is the key to understanding why your performance changed and how to bring it back. Here's how it works in simple terms. When you become aroused, your nerves send a signal to the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium. That lining, which is only one cell thick but incredibly powerful, responds by producing nitric oxide. Nitric oxide then travels into the smooth muscles surrounding your blood vessels and tells them to relax. When those muscles relax, the blood vessels expand. When they expand, blood rushes in. And when blood rushes in, firmness happens. That's it. That's the entire erection process in one simple chain reaction. Arousal triggers nerves. Nerves signal the endothelium. The endothelium produces nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes smooth muscle. Smooth muscle relaxation expands blood vessels. Expanded vessels fill with blood. Blood creates firmness. It's elegant, it's efficient, and when you were younger, it happened automatically, almost effortlessly. But here's the catch. If even one link in that chain weakens, your erections weaken too. Less nitric oxide equals less relaxation. Less relaxation equals less blood flow. Less blood flow equals less firmness. Less firmness equals less stamina. And this is exactly why so many men over 50 feel like their body just isn't responding the way it used to. You're not imagining it. It's not psychological. It's not stress, although stress can make it worse. It's not about needing more time, although you might need that too. It's nitric oxide declining. Pure and simple. The signal isn't strong enough anymore. The message isn't getting through. And without that message, the entire cascade falls apart. But here's the part that gives hope. Nitric oxide levels can rebound quickly when you provide something called L-Citrulline, the natural amino acid your body uses to create nitric oxide. We'll get to that in just a moment, but before we do, you need to understand a cruel little twist nature plays on older men. The older you get, the less responsive your blood vessels are to the nitric oxide you do have. That means you need even more nitric oxide just to get the same effect you used to get with less. It's like turning up the volume on a radio because your hearing isn't as sharp. The signal has to be stronger just to achieve what used to be normal. That's why some men feel like they need more stimulation, more time, more effort, but they get less results. The machinery hasn't completely broken down. It's just running on low power. And again, this isn't your fault. This is biology slowing down. This is what happens when cellular energy decreases, when inflammation increases, when the delicate balance of enzymes and chemicals that once worked in perfect harmony starts to drift out of tune. And this is exactly why getting nitric oxide levels back up is the single most powerful way to restore your performance. Because when nitric oxide rises, blood flow rises. When blood flow rises, everything works better. Stronger, faster, longer, more naturally, more consistently. Your body remembers how to do this. It just needs the right fuel to make it happen again. Here's the moment you've been waiting for. The powder you put under your tongue before intimacy, the one that ramps up blood flow in minutes, the one backed by real clinical research, is L-Citrulline. Now, don't click away thinking, oh, I've heard of amino acids before. Not like this. Not used this way. Not with this result. Because when you use L-Citrulline correctly, you tap into a biochemical shortcut that older men desperately need. Here's the science in plain English. L-Citrulline is converted into L-Arginine. And L-Arginine is the raw material your blood vessels use to make nitric oxide. Think of L-Citrulline as the precursor, the building block that your body transforms into the exact substance it needs to open blood vessels, increase circulation, and restore firmness. You might wonder, so why not just take L-Arginine directly? Wouldn't that be faster? And that's a great question. The answer is this. Your digestive system destroys most of it before it even reaches your bloodstream. This is called first-pass metabolism, and it's the reason L-Arginine pills work poorly for older men. When you swallow L-Arginine, it has to pass through your stomach, get broken down by stomach acid, move through your intestines, and then get absorbed into your bloodstream. But before it reaches general circulation, it goes directly to your liver through what's called the hepatic portal system. And your liver, which is designed to filter and break down substances, destroys a huge percentage of that L-Arginine before it can do anything useful. Studies show that oral L-Arginine has very poor bioavailability. Often less than 20% actually makes it into your bloodstream in a usable form. But L-Citrulline, it bypasses that entire breakdown process. Your body absorbs it efficiently. It doesn't get destroyed in the stomach or filtered out by the liver. Instead, it travels to your kidneys, and your kidneys convert it into L-Arginine inside your bloodstream, where nothing can interfere. That means higher nitric oxide, better blood flow, stronger response. It's the same destination, but a much smarter, more efficient route. But here's where things get even more interesting. The delivery method. When you place L-citrulline powder under your tongue, it enters the bloodstream almost immediately through the mucous membranes. This is called sublingual absorption, and it bypasses digestion entirely. Under your tongue, there's a rich network of tiny blood vessels, capillaries that sit just beneath the surface. When you place a powder or a liquid there and let it dissolve, those capillaries absorb it directly. Within minutes, not hours, the amino acids enter your bloodstream. There's no waiting for digestion, no breakdown by stomach acid, no filtering by the liver. It's a direct express route into your circulation. Within minutes, your L-arginine levels climb. Within 30 minutes, your nitric oxide rises. And when nitric oxide rises, your blood vessels open like they did decades ago. Think of it as turning the lights back on instantly in a pathway that's been dim for years. The machinery was always there. It just needed the right signal to activate it again. This isn't hype. This isn't marketing. Research backs it up. A controlled study published in the medical literature found that even 1.5 grams of L-citrulline improved erection hardness in men with mild erectile difficulties. Not a small change, not a placebo effect, but a meaningful, measurable improvement in blood flow-dependent function. Men reported firmer erections, better staying power, and more confidence during intimacy. And this isn't just one study. Multiple research papers have confirmed that L-citrulline supplementation increases plasma L-arginine levels more effectively than L-arginine itself. It raises nitric oxide markers in the blood. It improves endothelial function, which is the health of the blood vessel lining. And it enhances blood flow to tissues that depend on circulation for performance. Now that you know why L-citrulline works, let me show you how to use it in the most effective way possible. Because the difference between a little improvement and a dramatic transformation comes down to how you take it. Most men simply swallow the powder or take capsules. That works, but it works slowly. The amino acids have to pass through your entire digestive system, get absorbed in your intestines, travel through your liver, and only then reach your bloodstream in whatever amount survives. That journey. For older men, whose digestive efficiency has already declined, that process can take an hour or more, and much of the L-citrulline gets wasted along the way. But older men don't need to be slow. You need immediate blood flow activation. You need a method that delivers results when you need them, not eventually, not maybe, but reliably and quickly. That's why the under-the-tongue method has become so popular among urologists who specialize in men's health. It's faster, it's more efficient, and it gives you control over your timing. Here's exactly how to do it. Take your measured dose of L-citrulline powder. I'll explain the exact dosage in just a moment. And place it directly under your tongue. Let it dissolve fully. Don't rush it. Don't wash it down with water right away. Just let the membranes absorb it. You might taste a slight bitterness or a mild sour flavor, but it's not unpleasant, and it dissolves quickly, usually within a minute or two. Why does this work so well? Because this bypasses your stomach, your liver, your digestive enzymes, and sends the amino acids straight into your bloodstream through sublingual capillaries. This is the same medical principle we use with heart medications and fast-acting treatments. Nitroglycerin tablets for angina are taken sublingually for exactly this reason. When seconds matter, when you need immediate absorption, sublingual delivery is the gold standard. It's that effective. Now, let's talk about timing. For intimacy, take it 15 to 30 minutes beforehand. This gives your kidneys time to convert citrulline into arginine and then into nitric oxide. Most men feel the first signs, warmth, better circulation, increased firmness, within that window. For some, the effects hit even faster, especially if they're using the sublingual method consistently. Your body starts to respond more quickly the more familiar it becomes with the process. What about dosage? Clinical research typically lands in the range of 3 to 6 grams. That's 3,000 to 6,000 milligrams. Most men start with 3 grams and increase to 4 or 5 grams if they want a stronger effect. Start low and adjust slowly. Every body responds differently. Some men feel significant effects at 3 grams. Others need 5 or 6 to get the same result. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, and that's okay. This is about finding what works for your body. If you're using L-Citrulline malate, the version mixed with malic acid, you may need slightly more because part of the weight isn't citrulline itself. Malic acid is added because it can enhance absorption and reduce muscle fatigue, which is why L-Citrulline malate is popular among athletes. But for pure blood flow benefits, either form works. Just adjust your dosage accordingly. If the label says 2:1 L-Citrulline malate, that means for every 3 grams, you're getting about 2 grams of actual L-Citrulline. A quick note about meals. Since this is sublingual, you don't have to worry about eating or not eating. It works consistently whether you've had food or not. That's one of the huge advantages of this method. You don't need to plan around meals. You don't need to take it on an empty stomach and wait. You just take it when you need it, and it works. But here's the part older men must hear, and I cannot stress this enough. If you are on blood pressure medications, nitrates, or have a heart condition, talk to your doctor first. L-citrulline increases blood flow, which can gently lower blood pressure. For most men, that's a good thing. It reduces strain on the heart, improves circulation, and supports overall cardiovascular health. But if you're already on medications that lower blood pressure, adding L-citrulline can make your pressure drop lower than you want. And we need to make sure the effects don't stack too strongly. If you're on nitrates for chest pain, like nitroglycerin, isosorbide, or any medication for angina, do not take L-citrulline without medical supervision. The combination can cause a dangerous drop in blood pressure. The same goes for medications like sildenafil, Viagra, or tadalafil, Cialis. These drugs also work through nitric oxide pathways, and combining them with L-citrulline without guidance can lead to lightheadedness, dizziness, or even fainting. I tell my patients this all the time. Natural doesn't mean you ignore safety. Just because something is sold in a health food store doesn't mean it can't interact with medications or cause problems if used incorrectly. Always consult your doctor if you have any heart conditions, if you're on any cardiovascular medications, or if you're not sure whether it's safe for you. When most men hear about L-citrulline, they think only about the immediate boost. Stronger blood flow, faster response, better firmness, better stamina. And yes, those short-term benefits are very real. In fact, many men feel the difference the very first time they use it, especially when they use the under-the-tongue method. But what surprises my patients the most is that L-citrulline doesn't just work in the moment. It actually creates long-term upgrades in how your blood vessels function. It's not just a temporary fix. It's a restorative process that, over time, helps your body regain its natural ability to produce nitric oxide on its own. Let's break this into 2 parts. First, short-term benefits. Within 15 to 30 minutes, your body converts citrulline into arginine and then into nitric oxide. That nitric oxide tells your blood vessels to relax, allowing more blood to flow into the tissues that depend on circulation for firmness and staying power. You may notice more warmth, not just locally, but throughout your body. Your skin might feel slightly flushed. Your energy might lift. And most importantly, you'll notice a stronger response during intimacy. Improved sensitivity. The nerve endings that carry signals of pleasure become more responsive when they're well supplied with oxygen and nutrients. Better blood flow means better nerve function, and better nerve function means more sensation, more pleasure, more connection with your partner. And the ability to stay firm longer without feeling like you're fighting against your own body. That constant worry, that mental calculation of, is this going to last? Am I going to lose it? Starts to fade. Instead, you feel confident, present, engaged. You're not thinking about your performance. You're experiencing intimacy. Some men tell me they feel like the switch finally turns back on. One patient, a 62-year-old man who'd been struggling for over 3 years, told me it was like his body remembered how to respond. He didn't have to force it. It just worked, naturally and powerfully, the way it used to. Others say their partner notices instantly. And this is important because intimacy isn't just about you. It's about connection, about shared experience, about feeling desired and confident. When your partner sees that you're responding strongly, when they feel that confidence coming back, it changes the dynamic. It restores something that may have been quietly slipping away. And this is only the beginning. Because over time, and this is the part too many men don't know, L-Citrulline helps rebuild something deeper, your endothelial function. Your endothelium is the thin, delicate lining of your blood vessels. It's only one cell thick, but it's incredibly powerful. It's responsible for producing nitric oxide naturally. It regulates blood pressure. It prevents blood clots. It reduces inflammation. It's basically the control center for vascular health. And as you age, it gets damaged. By what? By inflammation caused by poor diet, high blood sugar, lack of exercise, chronic stress. By oxidative stress from free radicals that attack cells and damage their ability to function. By high blood pressure that puts constant strain on the vessel walls. By normal wear and tear that accumulates over decades. Slowly, the endothelium loses its ability to produce nitric oxide efficiently. The cells become sluggish. The signaling weakens. And the entire system that once worked so beautifully starts to fail. But research shows that L-Citrulline supports endothelial repair. It increases the availability of L-Arginine, which the endothelial cells need to produce nitric oxide. It reduces oxidative stress by acting as an antioxidant. It improves the expression of enzymes like endothelial nitric oxide synthase, eNOS, which is the enzyme responsible for converting L-Arginine into nitric oxide. And it helps restore the balance of chemicals that keep blood vessels healthy, flexible, and responsive. What does this mean in practical terms? It means that the more consistently you use L-Citrulline, the more naturally your body regains its ability to produce nitric oxide on its own. You're not just supplementing. You're retraining. You're giving your body the tools it needs to repair itself, to function better, to operate the way it did when you were younger. That means better circulation during intimacy, better circulation during exercise. You'll notice your workouts feel easier. Your endurance improves. You recover faster. Your muscles feel less fatigued. Better circulation during everyday life. You'll have more energy throughout the day. Your thinking will feel clearer, sharper, because your brain is getting better blood flow and more oxygen. You'll feel less sluggish in the afternoon. That midday crash might disappear entirely. Many men report more energy during the day, better workouts, clearer thinking, and less fatigue. Why? Because nitric oxide isn't just about erections. It's about your entire cardiovascular system. Your heart, your arteries, your muscles, your brain, they all rely on healthy blood flow. When blood flow improves everywhere, everything improves. Some men even use a smaller daily dose for general circulation and save the under-the-tongue method for moments when they want peak performance. That combination often delivers the best of both worlds. A baseline of improved vascular health that supports energy, stamina, and overall vitality, plus the ability to amplify that effect when you need maximum performance during intimacy. But before you start thinking this is a magic fix for everyone, you need to know the situations where L-Citrulline isn't enough or where it must be used with caution. And that's exactly what we need to cover next. Because being honest about limitations is just as important as celebrating successes. Before you rush out and start using L-Citrulline every day, let's talk about medications, because this is crucial for safety. If you are taking nitrates for chest pain or strong blood pressure medications, adding L-Citrulline can make your blood pressure drop lower than you want. Nitrates include medications like nitroglycerin, isosorbide mononitrate, or isosorbide dinitrate. These are commonly prescribed for angina, chest pain caused by reduced blood flow to the heart. If you're on any of these, do not take L-Citrulline without your doctor's approval. Blood pressure medications like ACE inhibitors, beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, or diuretics can also interact. Most men are safe, but you must talk to your doctor if you're on anything heart-related. Your doctor can monitor your blood pressure, adjust your medication doses if needed, and make sure you're using L-Citrulline safely. Remember, natural does not mean harmless when mixed with prescription drugs. Grapefruit juice is natural. It can also dangerously alter the effectiveness of dozens of medications. St. John's wort is natural. It can reduce the effectiveness of birth control, antidepressants, and blood thinners. Just because something comes from a plant or is sold over the counter doesn't mean it can't cause serious problems if used incorrectly. Always check with your doctor. Another common question: does L-Citrulline replace Viagra or other medications? No, and it shouldn't. L-Citrulline supports nitric oxide production at the root level. It gives your body the building blocks to create nitric oxide naturally. Viagra, sildenafil, and Cialis, tadalafil, work downstream on a completely different enzyme called phosphodiesterase type 5, or PDE5. They prevent the breakdown of a molecule called cGMP, which helps maintain erections once they start. They can complement each other, but only under medical guidance. Some men find that taking L-citrulline daily improves their baseline function, and then they use Viagra or Cialis occasionally when they want maximum effect. That combination can work beautifully, but only if your doctor knows about it and monitors you. If you try to stack things on your own, you may end up lightheaded, dizzy, or with a blood pressure crash that could be dangerous. One more thing older men must know: if you have very low testosterone, your performance may not improve fully until your hormone levels are addressed. L-citrulline boosts blood flow, but testosterone affects desire, nerve response, and the muscle tissue within the erection mechanism. Both matter. You need adequate blood flow and adequate hormonal signaling. If one is missing, you won't get the full result. So if you're doing everything right, if you're taking L-citrulline consistently, if you're living a healthy lifestyle, and you're still not seeing the improvements you want, get your testosterone checked. A simple blood test can tell you if low testosterone is part of the problem. And if it is, addressing it can make everything else work better. And finally, expectations. L-citrulline is incredibly promising, but research is still growing. Most studies show improvement, especially in mild erectile dysfunction, but it's not a cure-all. Think of it as a circulation enhancer, not a complete solution by itself. It's a powerful tool, but it works best when it's part of a bigger picture. The good news: when combined with sleep, hydration, good cardiovascular health, less alcohol, and smarter lifestyle habits, L-citrulline becomes far more effective. If you're sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, your testosterone production is higher. If you're staying hydrated, your blood volume is better. If you're exercising regularly, your cardiovascular system is stronger. If you're eating well, your inflammation is lower. All of those things amplify the effects of L-citrulline. It's not just one thing. It's everything working together. And before you go, share this with a man who needs to hear it. A friend, a brother, a father, someone who's struggling and doesn't know there's a solution this simple. I'm Dr. Lila Romano, and I will see you in the next video.